So setting up Google Tag Manager is the foundation for any digital advertising for tracking. There's a lot of other features in it, but the point of this video is setting up tracking for form submissions and phone calls if you're not using a third-party tool like CallRail. So when you go to Tag Manager, you're going to have to log in with a Gmail email. You're going to see a page like this: account setup, your account name, self-explanatory, container setup, and you're always going to pick web. The rest of these are more advanced. Then when you come in here, it's going to look a little something like this. This is an active Tag Manager, but you're going to get there. It's going to create this code. Now, every website depends on whether it's WordPress or Squarespace, or where you're going to put this code is different. So go to Google and say how to add Tag Manager or how to add scripts to your website in the head and the body, and follow those directions. But you essentially copy paste them. In WordPress, I often use Tracking Code Manager. I copy paste them in there, and then boom, your Tag Manager is on there. So Tag Manager creates like a container where you can then put all of your tracking codes and everything in one container without having to constantly add more scripts to your main website. From there, there's a lot of different things that you can set up. This is a little bit more advanced because I have Facebook in here, but you're essentially going to track how many people click your telephone, how many people click your mail to, which is sending an email, and how many people contact you. So to do that, you go new, you're going to give it a title tag, and then in configuration, you're actually going to go into Google Analytics and do a GA for event. I'm just going to go in here and show you how it's actually done. So in here, you're going to get your measurement ID. You're going to get that from Google Analytics. I will show you how to do that. It is. So when you're in settings in your analytics, it's under streams. And when you click on here, it's this measurement ID that you're going to copy and paste in here. Then you're going to create an event name. You make this up. So we use Grow My Biz as our code, so we know which ones we set up, and then click tell. You have to add the underscores. You can't leave spaces. So you either have to make it all one or add underscores to make it easier. And then you need a trigger. So essentially a trigger is saying, when do we want this tag to fire? And when you do that, you're going to do a click for just links, and you want the click URL to contain tell. Now, your web developer should have set all the phone numbers on your website as clickable, meaning if you're on mobile, then someone can click on the phone and make a call instantly from their mobile. So that should be set up already. If not, go back to your developer and ask them to do that. And to do that, to make it a hyperlink, you always add tell, : and the phone number. So that's what if anyone clicks on that, it's then what it's going to do in Tag Manager is say, okay, someone clicked on that, and then let's fire the event into Google Analytics. The same thing for mail to, exact same principle, only this time you're going to make the event name unique so that you know it's emails, and it's the same thing for the trigger, only this time the click URL contains mail to. Again, your web developer should have set that up. If not, ask them to, so that when they click the email to send an email, especially from it doesn't matter, desktop or mobile, this is hyperlinked, and that's part of the hyperlink. That's standard across all websites. As long as it's hyperlinked, those will be there. And then anybody who fills out the form on your website should be going to a custom thank you page, ideally. If not, it's harder to track, not impossible, but harder. But if they go to a custom thank you page, you're essentially going to do the same thing, only this one It's the lead contact us page, and it's going to be a page view. So when they view the page URL contains thank you. And then that's going to fire this off into Google Analytics. I have different documentation on how to set up some tracking for the various patient management systems. I'm not going to go into that from there. Once you get these set up, and you can pause the video and like literally copy paste, not obviously copy paste your measurement ID, but everything else, you'll make sure you press submit. It's always good to preview and test it. So if you go into preview, oh, it wants the full thing. So here the tags have fired automatically upon page view, which is just this. If I scroll down to the very bottom and I go to click the telephone, you can then go into link click and see that the tag fired for clicking a telephone. And then you would go through and test the forms and your email as well as the same thing. So it's always good to double check to make sure you have your tags set up properly, that they are firing for each appropriate action on the website. Then you're going to wait a couple days because these need to fire into Google Analytics. And once they're in Google Analytics, it's actually pretty simple. So when they're in Google Analytics, you'll start to see the data populate under events and in your reports. Right? So you can see them populating into here. Then what we do is we go into Google Ads. You're going to go into goals, create a custom action, import Google Analytics, web, hit continue, and it'll pull them in. So these we don't even use, but I'm just going to do this for to show you any of the new analytics events that you have in GA4 you can import, and then they'll import it. And again, it'll take a couple days for them to really show up in here. Yeah, the ones I just imported, I don't even see in here. So give it a couple days. Make a note for yourself to come back and double check that everything is firing and that you're actually tracking conversions. Then from there, you can go on and proceed to, in all of these, you can edit them. And if you want to add, you can either add an actual dollar value to here, use the same value from GA4, use the same value from each conversion, but there is a new thing. You can actually do no currency set, and on a scale of 1 to 10, prioritize your conversion action, with 10 being the strongest and 1 being the least, of how important that action is, indicating to Google prioritize bookings, and less priority would be people submitted an email, for example. Anyways, that's a little bit more advanced, going down a rabbit hole, but moral of the story is that you do, once you start to get the data in there, you can start to tell Google which conversions you really want to focus on. That is all there is as a basic introduction on how to set up tracking for phone calls, anyone clicking the mail to send an email to you directly, or to track any form submission on your website. Again, go back and use custom thank you pages for page load. That's ideal. Do reference my other videos on how to set up tracking for the other third-party platforms out there in terms of tracking how many people book.